Welcome to Jared Scott Outdoors. This YouTube channel is dedicated to getting our youth more involved in the outdoors. To do this, I'll be out with family and friends doing all sorts of outdoor adventures. This week on Jared Scott Outdoors, it's time for the spring bear hunt. This has become a tradition over the last several years as spring bear hunting with friends and family has created so many memories. This year, we're trying to get a couple young men on their first bears. We'll be starting out with Sam Coons and his father Jared. Sam tried last year and had a very close call with a big bear, but didn't fill his tag. So this year, he's hoping for redemption. All right, so we've got our bait set now. You know, typically we've done 2 baits when we come up. We had some things kind of go wrong with us on this one, meaning a motorcycle failed on us, and so we had to just pack everything in, and it slowed us up a little bit from what we just had planned. So time-wise, we're just going to set 1 bait, possibly set another one next time we come. So we've done it like we do every year. We've got our barrel, we've got grain, dog food, and tons of grease that's been used for cooking in a restaurant. So lots of good smelly stuff. And then we've got a spray. Jared, what kind of spray we got? What scent?
It is raspberry pie.
Raspberry pie scent from Boarmaster. Just really good stuff. Throws out a good scent. So he has sprayed it on the branches around here. And the idea is that the wind obviously picks that up. The thermals take it up the mountain, up the canyons over the next few days, and bears will pick that up, follow it down, and find this nice juicy mess. The grease, the oil, they'll come obviously and eat, get their paws in that grease, and then they'll take off, and other bears will pick that scent up that they've left. And anyways, it's just what we do to hopefully get more than 1 bear coming in. So we're gonna give it about a week. We'll come back and hopefully we got some bears. All right, so we are now back out. It's been about a week since Jared and I came up. We've got his son Sam with us, and we've only got the 1 bait set up still. We're gonna set that second bait tonight in the dark. It's kind of the only option we had. So Jared and I have been hunting off and on for several years up in this area for bear. Sam came last year for the first time, and you guys saw what?
You saw
a small bear?
No, we saw a pretty big bear that came right by.
Oh, I guess you're right. They had a big one when they were actually sitting it. They had the big one come in. There was a sow that had been coming with a couple cubs. That was a black sow, a couple cubs. And so they knew not to take that one. I wasn't here with them. And when the bear came in, it was a big black bear. They thought it was the sow. Anyways, it turned out it wasn't. But when it came back around, it just slipped up in the trees and took off. And that was it for him last year. So the big one got away. So here we are again. We're going to head up. We're going to see what's going on. Again, this is the first time back since we set it. So first of all, we're hoping it's been hit. Second of all, we're hoping that there's a decent bear. So Sam, what are you hoping for? Got color in mind, size?
Not really, just mainly size. Just if it's a brown or black bear, I don't really care. Cinnamon color, anything's fine. Just as long as it's big, yeah.
Big bear. All right, we're looking for a mature bear,
so.
And Sam's gonna make it happen. So we're gonna head up and see if we got some bears on. So heading on in, we were all very hopeful that we would find the bait having been hit. Assuming that would be the case, we hiked in pretty excited. As we got closer, we prepped for a possible shot and just edged on in. There have been several times we snuck into a bait and found a bear on it as we were coming. So with that in mind, we were very careful and glassed as much as possible, trying to locate any motion or sign of activity.
So I don't know if we've been hit. Look, we put some sticks inside the opening. They're still there. The sticks that were on top are gone. So I don't know. We'll go check it, but it's not looking like what we were hoping for.
I was actually more than a little surprised when we found the bait hadn't been touched. This was the first time in several years that the bait hadn't been hit when we returned to hunt. Investigating a little more, we verified that it was only ravens that had been hitting the bait. Either way, we added more scent, and then in an attempt to save time, Jared and I headed out to go set the other bait while Sam hung out here just in case something did come in. So we have our second bait set up. As you can see, we've got a little bit of daylight, so it was nice not doing it in the dark like we'd planned, but 3 bags of food this time. So we've got about 150 pounds of food here, which will hopefully hold the bears off for a little while until we come back up. But this is the spot that Mike shot his at last year. We've had a lot of big bears come in the past. We are a week late, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. Either way, now we've at least got 2 baits set up, so we'll see what happens tonight. We'll maybe hunt a little in the morning and then plan for next week being the good week. Early the next morning, we headed back up, knowing it was a long shot, but still hoping that the bait would have been hit overnight.
Nothing hit this bait overnight. It was a long shot, but we stuck around. We'll go ahead and head out and drive to the other bait, hike up into it, and see if anything hit that overnight. So we're just, because we're here, we figured we'd give it a shot. But either way, one way or another, we'll be back up here at least next week. We'll give it some time, and at some point the bears will hit it.
Unfortunately, as soon as we got to the bait, it was obvious it hadn't been hit either.
Well, that makes it official. We're gonna have to come back another day. So we're a couple hundred yards now from the bait that we set just last week. It's Monday. You know, if you remember, we only set one a couple weeks ago, a week and a half ago. So last week we came up, it hadn't been hit. We reset our second bait that we couldn't get to. So it's been about 4 days or so. And anyway, so we're gonna see now if it's been hit in those 4 days. The last few years it's been hit within a day every time. So I'm expecting this one will have some action on it. Anyways, got another bag of grain to add to it. And anyways, we'll just walk up and we're gonna see. It's like Christmas, seeing if we got hit or not, and then if so, what kind of bears.
Hiking up toward the bait, which was a couple hundred yards away from the trail to keep within regulations, I didn't see what I was hoping for.
Looks like it's been hit a little bit, but not hard. Something's been here, but I don't know. We'll have to check out the trail cam photos to see what's really going on. So I added more bait, but I forgot to bring my extra SD cards, and I don't have my reader with me. And so I'm actually going to have to just leave these trail cameras as is, maybe check them tomorrow, but there's just not enough activity to warrant coming here if the other one's been hit good. So I'll go and check that one, and we'll kind of go from there. So something's here, just don't know what.
Now it was time to go check the first bait we'd set. This was the one I had the highest expectations for on this trip, and this time all the indications were that it'd been hit.
After a hard little pack in, especially because I brought more food for this, it's been hit really pretty good, it looks like. 2/3 of the food at least is gone, so probably 100 pounds, 120 pounds of food is gone. So that there's been some activity here. So I'm gonna hurry and put some more in, pull these camera SD cards. I actually brought some replacements, and get back down in the blind and wait for Jared and Sam to show up. But we'll see what's going on.
I was able to swap out the SD cards and get a second blind set up so there'd be room for all three of us, and then sure enough, Sam and Jared appeared ready for a second chance. Using my little card reader, I looked over the photos from the trail cameras to see what was going on. Literally, the same morning after we had left last week, the first bear appeared. However, this pretty cinnamon bear was a sow that had a little chocolate cub. That immediately put this bear off limits. However, just the fact that it got hit was a good sign. Then they came back that evening and the following morning at 3 a.m. That same night, at midnight, another bear, an average-sized chocolate-colored one, appeared. This would prove to be the first of many times this bear would come in. The sow with the cub actually quit coming in altogether. I'm not sure why, but the chocolate bear became a regular. In fact, the day before we showed up, it had been there in the morning, middle of the day, and evening. That's a good sign. So far today, it had only been in at noon, so there was a very good chance it'd be coming in later today if it kept up with its pattern. As we waited, the first thing that happened was a good rainstorm. In fact, I have a feeling it was the rain that kept this and the other bait from getting hit sooner. Every time we put out fresh scent to attract the bears, it rained and rained a lot. That just kept that scent from going up with the thermals, bringing in the bears. Regardless of the reason, there were bears now, and the rain would soon stop. Well, we waited and waited and waited some more. As the last hour of the evening came, I figured if it was coming, it was going to be soon. It wasn't until there was about 15 minutes of daylight left that suddenly the bear we'd been waiting for appeared. As I was in the second blind, I couldn't really talk to Jared or Sam. I just got the camera rolling and waited to see what would happen. I guess there was no question as to whether or not Sam would take this bear. Jared just told his son to take the shot when he was ready. Meanwhile, after the bear pulled out some food, it laid down to eat some of it on the ground. Well, that was a mess. We did go look for blood and didn't find any, but as I looked at the footage, I noticed that he had shot high, just parting the hair on the bear's neck. It made a clean getaway. Sam felt horrible. Here he had his chance and he didn't connect. Were there some things he could have done different? Yes, for sure. In fact, we took this as a learning moment for Sam. We talked about patience, waiting for the animal to give a bigger target, where to aim when shooting at such a steep angle, and more. All things you learn in hunter's ed, but in the heat of the moment, many forget, especially new hunters. Then we tried to bolster him up with hopes that another bear might come in. So the next morning we were back. It was a long shot that bear would return, but maybe it had just been scared and didn't know what happened. Maybe it would come back. Well, it was obvious that it hadn't been there overnight, but we'd sit it anyhow. After several hours of no activity, we added some more bait and some fresh scent. It was a hot day with lots of thermals, so maybe some added scent would help bring some bears in. I had to take off for home because I had some other commitments and headed out at noon and just left them the camera. Sam's father Jared also made a quick trip out to grab some food as they had not planned on staying throughout the day. But being Sam's last chance, he wanted to go ahead and finish off the day in the blind just in case the bear came back. Well, I'll have to give it to Sam because his intuition was right. At 2 in the afternoon, he looked up and was surprised to see a bear already in front of him. However, it wasn't the chocolate bear from before, but a new bear that had never been there. It must have been following that scent and just found the bait. This time, with the lessons he'd learned the night before, he made sure to have a good target and adjust for the steep angle before pulling the trigger.
Let's go.
I'm sure you can imagine the surprise Sam's father had when he showed up back to the blind and Sam was waiting there with a bear.
Sam got his bear. Sam, walk us through what happened.
I was just sitting on the bait here, and at about 156, 157, this black bear right here came around and was just kind of wandering around the bait, and so I just kind of waited to see if he would hit the bait so I could get an easier shot, but he never did. So he kind of walked around a couple times and then just stopped, and so I just shot and I hit him, so it was pretty good.
It was a good shot. Excited. Sam's first bear. You know, yesterday he missed that other chocolate that came in. Where we're baiting, it's pretty steep up to the bait, so kind of a steep angle, and he didn't aim low enough and he missed it, and he was pretty bummed last night. And how you feeling today?
Oh, I'm feeling great. After I shot it, I couldn't really walk. My legs were just nervous. I don't know. So
it was awesome. But I told him that happens to everybody. You know, you miss some. You know, I think all of us hunters have missed, you know, big elk and deer and even bears, and you have to kind of just shake it off. He did a good job, stayed in it, and we're excited for Sam's first bear. Get this skinned out, and it'll make a nice rug, and it'll look great. Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, sounds great.
It's been a good hunt for you.
Yes, it has.
So we appreciate Jared, Scott, and setting up the blinds, and we've been baiting up here for a couple years. We've had a lot of close calls. You know, I missed one a couple years ago, and we had one last year that just walked in front of us. We weren't quite ready for it, so it's good to kind of get this under our belt. Sam's excited, and that's important. And it's been a great hunt, and looking forward to next year.
These episodes can't be done without your help. You know the drill. Please make some comments, like, and subscribe, and I'll keep working on more videos.